I know there's nothing more frustrating than jumping on a sales call or doing a webinar or doing a challenge and putting in all this work to launch a product, a service, or an offering you have, only to have crickets and no one enroll. And if this is you, likely your sales funnel has a portion that is broken, or maybe a couple portions that are broken. And I wanted to outline how you can fix that in this video. If you haven't watched my previous video on sales funnels, that's okay. You can watch this video and then go back and watch that one. But the sales funnel, I'll put up a graphic for you to visualize right here. For every single part of the sales funnel, I will help you identify if this is the portion you should be focusing on because it's keeping you from getting more sales. And then if it is, how you can fix it. Starting at the very top with traffic. How you can tell if you are not getting enough traffic is as follows. If your community is staying stagnant, you're staying at the same follower count, same number of subscribers, then you're not getting as much traffic as you could. And then when it comes to your analytics on your website, if you're also seeing it being quite stagnant and you're not growing there, or you're not getting much traffic at all to your website, then you know that this is likely something that you need to work on in your funnel. But fear not, it's okay, we can fix this. And some ideas I had to fix this and to help you do that are as follows. The first thing might be a little counterintuitive, but I actually want you to scale back. Because in my previous version of my business, where I was just so overwhelmed, anxious all the time, and was just throwing things at the wall, I would have seen a decrease in traffic or not getting enough traffic as a means to lean in and do more. So I would try to be on more social platforms. I would try to do more things. And actually, I want you to do the reverse. I want you to scale back, and here's why. When it comes to social media nowadays, it's definitely quality over quantity. And so with the platforms you're on right now, if you're not growing your following and you're not growing your subscribers or whatever it is, then it likely means that the content isn't reaching enough people and the content strategy is off and you need to re-strategize. And that takes time. As an example, already not doing well on Instagram and Instagram is plateauing. I don't want you then to add on TikTok and also not do TikTok well, and then you're burnt out, overwhelmed, and nothing is taking off. Instead, I'd rather you focus on Instagram, double down on it, grow that, be able to get more sales from that, and maybe hire people to help you, and then you can expand to TikTok. So I want you to actually scale back, take a look at your analytics, take a look at what's going on, maybe poll members of your community to see what they want to see more of, what they want to see less of, and figure that out. I want you to get really into the details of the data and then re-strategize. Once you've done that, see if there's low-hanging fruit ways you can drive traffic to your business. Some ideas are collaborations. You could also appear on podcasts. You could also potentially do partnerships. You could also potentially do ads or work with influencers. So see if there's anything you can drum up to drive more traffic to your business. But first of all, you do in the long term want to have a better social media strategy. So work on that first and then implement some short-term tactics. The next part of the sales funnel that I wanted to talk about is the nurture or warm-up process. If you're noticing that the selling process is really, really hard, then you likely need to nurture and warm up your customers more. If you're selling them a product or a service, or you're doing a launch and you're constantly getting objections or people not understanding why you're selling this product or service, then you likely need to warm up your audience more. Because if people are objecting to the price, they're saying it's too expensive, or they're objecting to the product or service in general, saying that they have no idea how it's going to help them or they don't need it, then you do need to nurture and warm up your audience more to get them to understand what you're doing, what value you can provide to them, and build that trust and credibility. But beyond that, if you're noticing that when you post on social media or when you send out an email newsletter, if it's crickets and your community isn't engaged, they're not commenting, they are not saving things, they're not in your DMs, then you likely have to warm up your audience a little bit more. How you're going to fix this is through being more strategic with what you are doing. So getting really quiet and figuring out how you're going to leverage your content and your marketing strategy to be able to promote what you're selling so that you can build trust and credibility so that people in your community know you're the go-to resource for X, Y, and Z. That's why you're selling A, B, and C, and then they're sold and they convert. But if you don't have that right now, that's fine. You just want to take a step back, re-strategize, think very strategically about the products you have, and then tailor your marketing and your content around that. As an example, I on YouTube here talk about sustainable growth, sustainable sales. But if all of a sudden I came out with a course or a program on how to do your nails at home, that would be so random and you would not trust me to sell that or talk about that because I've never given you any indication that I can do nails at home. And I absolutely cannot. So I would not be putting that out. And it could be the same for your content too. Sometimes I look at some people's social medias and they're doing travel vlogs or they're doing cooking content, which is beautiful and it's amazing and it builds more likability, but they'll sell something and they have never done that much content around thought leadership or free value or lessons and experiences to be able to build that trust and credibility. And then they're wondering why their community is not buying from them, they're not getting it. And a lot of the times it is that content strategy. So you want to take a step back and reanalyze and figure out how you can give value, how you can nurture and build up that trust and credibility. In terms of your conversion, if you're noticing that your conversion rate as a whole is dropping and not very high, there's a few things you want to look at. If you're noticing that you're telling people about a product or a service you offer and you're getting no's across the board, then first of all, you want to see if you're actually getting in front of the right people, because your product and your service is for a specific clientele, a specific avatar. If your community is not consistent of that clientele and avatar, that might be why your conversion rates are low. Or maybe this product is outdated and it needs a refresh and it's not really relevant anymore, or your customers don't really have that problem or pain point anymore. Or maybe you need more practice with sales. It could literally be that, because sales is a skill, it's something you get better at. And so maybe you do need to do more sales calls, you do need to do more webinars or more challenges to get that muscle up. And potentially too, there could be some sales mindset stuff that is keeping you from actually showing up and selling and giving it your all. I know a lot of people, when they first sell, there's a lot of things that come up. Some people might feel like sales is sleazy. And I highly recommend a book called The Mountain Is You, which is all about self-sabotaging behaviors. Check your product first and foremost, make sure it's resonating, it's still valuable. And then if it is, check your community and make sure you're getting in front of the right people and you're reaching the right people. Let's say you're a wedding planner and you're selling wedding services to someone that just got divorced. That's not the right clientele, right? So we want to make sure you're getting in front of the right people. And then, of course, you also want to continuously work on your sales skills as well. But that being said, if you're not getting enough traffic and you're not warming up your audience, that is a domino effect to having low conversion rates as well. Typically, if you have not a lot of traffic and or you haven't warmed up your audience, you probably are going to have a low conversion rate. It's a byproduct. But hopefully this allows you to realize which part of your sales funnels potentially isn't optimized and then how you can fix it. I wanted to keep it more high level so I don't overwhelm you and just give you an overview. But if you want to go more in depth and actually start to seriously fix it, I highly recommend you check out my new private podcast called Sustain Your Success, where I overview my sustainable growth strategies and sustainable sales strategies that I have developed to grow this 2.0 version of my business so that it is in alignment with my values and I can do it consistently and sustainably. So you can check it out using the link down below or at selenaho.com/SYS. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will personally get back to you. And I am really excited for you to continue to optimize your sales funnel and check out my private podcast, Sustain Your Success.